Hi, beautiful Cancer. This is Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your June 2018 Soul Tarot reading. I'm starting off with the image of the cards. If you're new, welcome. It's great to have you here. And thanks and gratitude and love to all the people who are returning and who've been traveling with me, enlivening my own journey. Pardon me. Um, I always forget, the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck. I'm trying to be a little more disciplined about this. It's amazing. It speaks to me and brings forward the messages from my spirit guides. So if you don't know me, I'm a clairvoyant person, a sacred channeler, and had a very interesting life experience that brought me to YouTube ultimately. And my experience continues to deepen because of the accompaniment of all of you wonderful people out there, Spirit says. Um, so thank you really very much for being here. I have an amazing array of cards to speak with you about. I just want to remind you, if I do offer readings, I offer distance healing. Um, there's a live stream community that is building. I do a live stream message every month, and coming forward, what is about to unfold here because of the station of Uranus, that's bringing shocking, rapid shift and change for me. I'm a Virgo with Aries rising, so I'm really feeling it, and there's a lot going on here. One of the things that's going on is the bringing forward of the pathway that is going to allow people to come and have a sacred journey in Moonrise Cottage with my assistance. So there will be more to tell. It's not quite time for that yet, but I think by the end of summer that will begin, and possibly before. I'll talk about that. I'm going to make a special short video about some of that information in a week or so. Okay? So, Cancer. Um, my goodness, look at that. Your journey, like everybody else in this moment, because of the transit of Uranus, we all come into our journey in a really powerful way. So in May, here are the cards. It's still May. Today's the 23rd, I think. Look at the top row of cards. There's Uranus. You are standing, having been transformed. Look at that left column. All right. You are on a sacred journey, an adventure. Under cloak, in a sense, right? Spirits call it the invisibility cloak. And, forgive me, I'm just getting past a fairly significant illness. My voice is still hoarse, and I've been talking a lot the last couple days. So I've got my teacup here. I'm going to try to sort of keep my frogginess at a minimum. So there you were. That story, that card on the bottom left, is about someone who was a sacred wisdom holder that was sent on a journey to recapture the vibration of his instrument. And it's interesting because I just had a really profound prophetic dream about that when it comes to Moonrise Cottage and my placement here. So we are all coming into these moments all across the earth. So it's about going through the dark of night to recapture something of extreme value that was lost or stolen. And the way to recapture it was to go and sit in the dark of night in your own, through your own power, Spirit says, in order to raise the vibration, sing the songs, the sacred chants, etc., that cause the instrument to begin to vibrate and then rise through the air and return to Him. The turning of that sacred wisdom holder's destiny was that he came into the realm. Look at the card above of the sacred goddess Bo'an, who has the ability to allow her energy to flow over the earth. It's a, Spirit's calling it, it's a very auspicious moment for you. It's about destiny unfolding. So the story behind that card, the Woman of Art, is about someone whose destiny was to become a sacred river. And along that river rose up the sacred passage tombs and a lot of other mystical destiny. in the Boyne Valley in Ireland. I went there last year. I felt very pulled to go, and I had an amazing journey. And my life, kind of like what we see here, even though I'm a Virgo with Aries rising, my life started to unfold and deepen in this way because of what my destiny, uh, how my destiny was meant to unfold. So that's the process that you've been in. And then there she is standing in the light of the sun. As Uranus approaches, that is what brought you in line with the spirit part of your journey. And if you look above her, there's Uranus, the transit, the station, into an earth sign, here to affect all of us in this realm. You've been transformed. You have a moment of sudden, unanticipated awakening that brings you into your destiny. And you begin your sacred learning. It was a beautiful story that came forward in the month of May. That transitions into the last card on the top row with some learning about the joining of the yin and yang and how that brings transformation and the river of sacred knowledge that is available to you through the cycles of the moon. A really powerful message. And Spirit says powerful learning. The outcome card was the beautiful queen of knowledge. And she sits looking at the core of your journey, literally weaving the strings of your destiny because you are going so far. If you look at the Queen of Knowledge, 2 cards in from that, okay, to the left, your station in the month of May is inside the realm of the sacred alchemist, pardon me. Her job is to mingle together the mystical qualities of your being in order for them to come into their destiny. So, quite an amazing month in May. And we're technically still in it. Some of you will see this message. Please be patient. It is important that you stand in the full light of the sun and allow the station of Uranus to do its work. One of the things I love about this reading and about this moment of Uranus being here with us is the type of transformation that it is bringing. And I believe it is about the energy, the fire of love energy. I am feeling it in my heart really deeply. And I believe we have seen a sort of a gift in a way that illustrates what I've been calling for many years and anticipating and feeling for many years, something called the return of the goddess. And I think on the 16th, I think it was on the day that Uranus transited into an earth sign, there was a royal wedding in London. The second of Diana's children got married, a young prince, and the woman that he married, everything about that ceremony in a certain way was taboo. And those traditions were unbound, Spirit says. So this woman comes forward. She's a mixed race woman. She's an American. She's a divorcee. You know, all the things that were taboo not so long ago, Spirit says. And the fact that she brought her power, she decided to arrive at the church alone, on her own, and walk up the steps and enter the chapel, invested fully with her own power as a demonstration, if you will, of the sacred feminine. And I don't know if she would use those words, but because of her set point as a person, that was a decision that she made. And Spirit says, she came to that moment fully vested in her own power in order to bring forward the change. She was, I think, the human embodiment of this notion of the Uranus transit and the rise of the sacred feminine. It was such a beautiful metaphor. I wasn't paying any attention to it because of what's going on for me. And my friends started to message me and say, oh my God, you have to check this out. Look. So, here comes this woman, and she walks up the steps into the realm of the royals, a commoner, and um, enters there of her own power. Spirit saying, in and of herself, walks halfway into the church, and then is met by the future king, who escorts her uh, to the altar. It's mind blowing. I'm so excited about that alone. So, that is the kind of transition that we're making. And because of that, it is bringing a massive amount of healing. And if we could, I don't know anything about these people, but the symbolism is what's important, I think. And when we see Spirit's talking about the energy and the manner and the tenor of the young prince that she agreed to marry, that, it's interesting, Spirit's calling it a trine. That bind of energy has, in that moment, changed the destiny of all beings here on Earth. The cord of the energy that comes through on this Uranus station is going to affect us for the next 7 or 8 years. It is joining Pluto, stationed also in an Earth sign, the cardinal Earth sign, in order to uproot and overthrow and topple the old form that no longer serves us. So, Spirit just wanted to talk a little bit about that metaphor as we jump into your reading, okay? Pardon me. So, here we see your cards for June. Look at that. The first card over the top. Speaking with you about your soul journey. I love it. Given everything that just came out, okay? There we have it. There we are. In our human state, we slumber. That is part of our destiny. There's nothing wrong with it in a sense, but we are here for a journey. And in this moment, the shocking change for you, Cancer, is that in the moment when you're, pardon me, when Uranus transits and stations, it sends you on your soul journey. I spoke with somebody on the day that that happened. It taught me a lot about the Cancer journey, so thank you to that person for the accompaniment. Something phenomenal is happening with the Cancer energy cord, Spirit says. So you step out, your soul rises from your physical form, goes through the portal, and steps in to the sacred bowl of renewal and destiny with the triple spiral activated as you walk forward into your sacred destiny. Beautiful. Sitting next to that, we see the notation of the judgment of skill. So, it's about sitting in May, shocking, amazing things that you never could have imagined. Something happened inside of you. And I'm hearing from people about that all over the world, actually. People saying, I literally felt it. I was laying in my bed. I felt it happen. Things like that. Those are the messages that are coming through to me. So here we have June. Okay, the transit has happened. There you are, Cancer, in all your beauty. You've been transformed. Your walk has been transformed. Look at the shoes. You are in a very tranquil, serene place. You are feeling the energy of your being and having some moments of quiet repose. You have your vessel, Spirit says, has suddenly come into its fulfillment. And there you sit in this place of tranquility and abundance with a full vessel and the ability to refill it once again, Spirit says. And in that place of tranquility, because of the sudden change that came, now in the month of June, you're going to have time to just sort of ponder, oh my gosh, what was that moment that happened? When the past fell away and I began to look to my future, and what was that life that I had? What was the purpose of that? And where shall I go from here? So, Spirit's saying, tantamount to sitting in a really beautiful place on a gorgeous summer day where you just relax and your worries fall away and you just allow yourself to daydream. The Spirit's saying it's kind of a Zen moment. In the month of June, There's a lot going on, but this is how you will feel as you go through the amazing journey that Spirit has for you. So the message is ease into it, be easy, be easy with it. There's a lot of power that's going to stream into you and through you. Take a deep breath and just allow it to come. Open yourself in this way. Relax into the moment, okay? So the first card on this human realm, look at those cards, first of all. Holy mackerel, Cancer. Wow. Given the journey that I've had, I look at that and I think, ooh, Cancer. Oh my gosh, it's on. Spirit saying, it's on, baby. I love it. I love it when Spirit is snarky. All right, look at that. You come to this moment while you're having your repose. And, so what Spirit's talking about is the process that's happening inside of you. Okay? Some of you are going to experience this perhaps in a literal way. For some of you, it's going to be in the dream time. You're in a very deep, mystical place this month in June. You come to a moment. And maybe some of you will have a literal moment like this. I hope so, because these moments are phenomenal based on my life experience. So you pull aside the fronds, right, euphemistically, and all of a sudden, look how excited that little being is. You come to a transformation because you see something, and what you are seeing is the sacred salmon of all wisdom. You are seeing the source. And what I love about this is that is a signifier of Pisces in a Cancer reading. Very deep, a lot of power. All of the power of the water signs, I think, a Cancer person is feeling this month. So go look at some of your cohort readings, okay? I think it's going to maybe give you a couple more threads that aren't going to come through in this reading as directly. So there you go. You're being sent on a quest. And prior to this moment, you were being sent on adventures. Now that deepens and something very profound happens. And you are literally able to see source energy, source wisdom in the world and within yourself. Next to that, of course, when you have that kind of a moment, at least in my experience, the next thing that happens is you begin to transform. You have a new life coming through. It is fraught with some anxiety. You can get overwhelmed. It's really intense. So this is about a certain type of transformation that was taking place. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to get into that story, but I just want to show you all the wisdom holders in the earthly realm that were called upon for this quest. So you have a double quest. The quest of art and the quest of skill going forward in the month of June. Transformation for sure. And look, there's the salmon. Right? Okay, Spirit saying right at your head, the place that the ancient Celtic people believed the soul resided. That's interesting. Okay. So if you want a little homework, go and look up these animal medicine cards. You can do it online. It's a really interesting array of creatures that were here to assist this being who is in the process of reformatting. All right. Spirit's calling it regeneration. I was going to use another term. Spirit's cutting off my tongue. Okay. I won't say it. And look, of course, what comes next? You enter into the sacred bowl. The renewer of devotion. There are the triple deities, and you can utilize the widest viewpoint about them. It might be the triple goddess, it's the triple deities, it's the tripartite soul. That is the sacred cauldron of healing. It really does exist, and there's another notation of it actually in this reading, a little further along. Those are elderflowers that were used for eons for healing. This is about being deep out into the universe with your being, because we're talking about the human realm. This is how it's going to feel. Something's going to happen. A great healing is coming to you, Cancer, in some way that is shocking and sudden, but deep and profound. And it causes it's interesting. It causes this kind of swirl to happen for you. Suddenly you set off on your journey. It's amazing to me. All right. So, pardon me. Look at the card that comes next. That also completely astounding. I think this month in June is the moment. Spirit's talking about the moment that occurs and the moment before. So if we look at May, when we see, let me just transition back. There you go. When we see on your soul journey the notation of the transit of Uranus and what that pulls forward, again, Spirit's referencing the left column of cards and how that sort of pulled your destiny forward to a very specific outcome. And we see this notation of the Queen of Knowledge accompanying you. And here in June, we see you come to this moment of awakening on the human realm because of what happened on the spirit realm in the month of May. Interesting, isn't it? So now the awakening comes. You come into your own relationship with source energy, source power, the wisdom that exists there, and it causes you to transform and enter into the sacred cauldron of healing. It was part of the mythology that the people who go into the sacred cauldron emerge from that place. Spirit saying further aware, acutely aware of love energy from a compassionate. Spirit's talking about set point in a sense. The perspective of compassion is the best way to say it. For all beings, able to tolerate the love that you feel for them in your heart, and able to understand how you are related and how your journey is related to every other soul that is here doing its best to transition and have its journey. It's an amazing progression of cards standing on the human realm. So, the renewer, it's actually the renewer of devotion. I can't remember if I said that. It's deepening your compassion. And that is the moment that Uranus brought us to in May. It is about love energy, the fire of the sun, the pure light of the sun, and the fire of love energy. Astounding. And so, within that, Cancer, you're going to have your own journey that answers the own threat, the personal threat of your own energy. So, you go into the cauldron for a moment of transformation. It brings things to resolution. You are going to be releasing. You're going to be forgiving. You are going to feel, when you emerge from that place, you are going to feel as if you have a new lease on life, right? So, think about it when you get a deep healing. And look at the process that's going on in the human realm. Suddenly, Uranus brings to you a discovery. And of course, you begin to transform. And that transformation brings a profound healing to you. And the next thing that happens is a sacred initiation. I'm getting a little choked up. Astounding and so deeply gratifying for me to see for some really personal reasons. Really beautiful to see this here. I've been talking about it. It's been coming through to me. And when I saw it come out in the cards, when I was, shuffling the deck and the cards were jumping out, I just said a prayer. I had to stop because it took my breath away in terms of what is coming forward for you. So we see this notion again. Go back up to the first card on the human realm. There's the moment, the Uranus moment, and the intention of the Uranus moment. You begin to transform. You step into the sacred cauldron. Last month, remember? Let me show you again. So check out May. Here's May. Do you see the sacred alchemist? her job, the butter churner, do you know what I mean? Her job is to mingle together all of your energies. And it's fascinating to me to see how that carried forward into the month of June. In this way, in your human life, which is where she sat in May, responding to the transit that happened. In June, the next step begins. So I'm expecting that you are going to have a very mystical, sacred unfolding within your being in the month of June. And you are going to willingly, being one of the keys, right? Willingly take the step of the sacred initiate. And that is no small undertaking. Let me show you the card. Oops, hang on a second. There we are. Okay, check it out. Look at that. That is very significant in my experience as a, Spirit says, as a soul wanderer on this earthly realm. This moment is something that we all dream about. It is one of the things that our souls dream about, and we don't know how to understand it, and we don't know how to express it until the moment comes. And then the revelation comes. And we've been seeing that in the cards too for months. Okay? So, oops, wrong toggle. Sorry about that. So there you are, stepping into your moment of sacred initiation. The other thing I want to say about this before I forget, that's an extra card on the human realm. Your human journey this month is going to be really complex, beautiful, sacred, powerful, quiet, and profound. So, the Dedicator of Lore, I'm going to read right from the book for you. This is about sacrifice and about serene submission to one's life pattern. It brings faith and integrity into your actions. It is about finding knowledge within you and dedicating your service to a higher purpose, a higher calling. This is a period of waiting and transition. So, what's interesting to me about this, in a sense, I've been having some prophetic dreaming and some things are going on here. At the end of the reading, I'm going to spend a few minutes, I'm just going to tell you guys about it. But it's in line with this, and in line with the station and the transit of Uranus and how it is affecting my journey. Okay? It's just equally as profound. So this is the sacred goddess of the Gundstrap cauldron. And in this moment, when you come to a willingness to be prepared, so to speak, you are coming into a freedom, a type of freedom to move through the energy that exists in all the realms of the earth. It's a phenomenal moment. This notion of sacrifice. All right, I'm going to toggle back because I want to talk with you about that for a moment. I'm not talking about sacrifice that's going to wound you. I'm talking about willingness, right? So in the sacred tradition, it's a sacrifice to choose to become a wisdom holder because it changes your life forever and you can't go back. Well, in my experience, when you step through the doorway and you take your initiation, you make your vows and all the things that happen that leads you to that moment, you'll never go back. Spirit's talking about Lord of the Rings. There was a scene, I think it's in the last movie, after they go up the mountain with the ring and all the destiny is fulfilled. That was the initiation, right? And when they come back, there's a transition that's happening, and the young warrior who carried the ring could not rejoin his realm. He had to sail away with the fairy people to live out his days in a different way. And so, in a sense, there's a little bit of that. And all of us are going through this together. I'm very gratified to see this. It means that we on the earth, because we've woven that tapestry that Spirit talked about all last year, we now come to this moment where we are willing to make the sacrifice, to leave certain facets of our human existence behind in order to step into a place of higher, I hate that word, but I don't know what else to say in the moment, deeper vibration, so that we can be in touch with each other on the energetic highway. And having been blessed with that capacity, I know the beauty of it. I know the intensity of it. And I've been, the parts of me, I always talk about being a little hermit. So the part of me that's lonely, that's where I'm lonely. I don't want to be standing here alone. I want us all to be together in this way. And that is what is evolving with this particular shift in energy. So I'm really excited about it. Let's go forward. Before I get looped, Spirit says, before I get looped into that story. So, a sacred initiation. If you want to know more about that, would you please contact me? This is going to happen naturally in your life. You're going to feel it. You may have a sacred moment. You can initiate yourself. It is best to do it in a group of people with a teacher or someone who understands these type of things. But you can certainly, Spirit says, concoct it on your own. You will know, because the moment in the information and the flow of energy is coming into you, you want to make the sacrifice. And that is why that's a sacred moment. Okay? So having made that sacrifice, the willingness to step in to the place of the dedicator of sacred lore, the initiate who agrees to take on a period of training, a period of waiting, no matter how long it takes, in order to bring their destiny forward and dedicate themselves to the spiritual unfolding that is meant to come. It's a beautiful moment. Very mysterious, very mystical. We see the bridge card above the gorgeous quest of art. That's about prophecy. So you step onto your human path this month and you're bringing forward a prophecy. The particular prophecy that comes forward, this beautiful goddess, the revelation of art, is about the Uranus energy. The story behind this is that she had the ability to see the sacred lineage. And here she is in your reading, sitting right above the quest of art. The moment that you come into the vision of the source energy, and it fills you, Spirit says. And then, of course, what happens is it comes flowing out of you, just like it comes flowing out of me. Nothing feels better to me than this at this point in my life. Yeah, I like chocolate ice cream too, but it's not the same, right? So we're talking about deep knowing of yourself and what your sacred energy really is about and what it's for. And when you step into that moment, you become part of the lineage. You fulfill your destiny as the sacred lineage that is meant to come forward here on the earth. And you begin to learn how to wield this. Okay, Spirit's calling it psychic energy, etc. I know that we all have that capacity. I'm pretty sure. Spirit says, because you're human, right? We came in with it. We just have lost the art. It's coming back. So you step into this destiny. You step into your lineage. And fabulously, I love this part, you are met by the Queen of Battle, the shamaness, who is here to accompany you on the soul level. Look at the reflection of the soul journey and the human journey this month. They are coming into very close alignment. So there we have the beautiful shamaness, the Queen of Battle, the Morrigan. I love her. She's, Spirit says, that's my posse. So, in a sense, it's about being in the energy, right? The mystical realm of battle is about sacred energy and the movement and the flow and the destiny. And sometimes we need some help. So, you're walking through your human journey, inspired by the energy that is already inside of you. And you're making all these discoveries. You're having all this unfolding and healing. And you step out of the sacred cauldron. And the first thing you want to do is dedicate yourself to that energy. That's my experience. That's how it happened to me, right? Took a long time, many years. I traveled through my life until I was ready to take that step. And then a series of initiations happened. And, it's just kind of how it all unfolds, right? I think it's kind of true for everybody if we step fully into what we know of ourselves. So, when it comes to your soul journey, the Morrigan is here to help you transit in this moment of transit and restationing. It's beautiful. So, again, there you see the sun behind her, the full light of the sun. Look at the coloration of the card in general. Love energy, sacred fire, the battle of the soul to be in the mystical realm and transmit from there and help souls go back and forth. So look at the way she stands on that far left line, perfect alignment. And one of the things I love about her, she is the goddess of catabolic change. She is here to be uh, the the holder of the shape shifting in a sense, bringing forward this sacred battle. Like the King of Art, this is the feminine representation of the ability to remove obstacles. And she stands on the spirit line on the far left, where we're talking about your sacred human quest. She's standing there because you've stepped into your lineage and she has arrived. She's been sent, Spirit says, to remove the obstacles from your quest and help you come deeper into your moment because the moment is ripe for change. Because what existed before this moment was stale and it was time for it to fall away. That's pretty amazing. The other thing I love about this, look at the card next to her. She's looking directly into it. There's another cauldron. This also is about Uranus, okay? So this card tells the story of a sacred goddess who had a child. She wanted to give her child all the wisdom that existed. She made a sacred brew. She put it on a fire. It was meant to simmer for a year and a day. And what happened was, she's busy. She's the Morgan. She's got stuff to do, right? In a sense. So she hired a young guy, a young kid, a young man, Spirit's saying, to sit and mind the fire and just feed little sticks and keep it simmering and all that stuff. And of course, what happened is it overflowed, right? It started to boil too hard. The pot started to overflow. The young man reached out to try to steady the pot, and the sacred brew burned him, flashed. That's interesting. Spirit says flash. Oh, because of Uranus. Okay, the flash happened. Same kind of thing. Uranus energy. Bang, in a moment. Of course, he put his fingers into his mouth. And in that moment, everything changed. He didn't expect it. It was not part of his anticipated destiny. But he came into all this sacred knowledge. And he was terrified because the Morrigan, part of the Morrigan is the queen of battle. Don't be messing with her because she has a lot of power. Right? If she's angry, it's not going to go great for you. In this reading, it's about her power to transport you into your destiny. And there it is. She's looking directly into it. Okay? So, the young man begins to shapeshift because now he has the power to do it. To hide from the goddess who hired him because he was sure that he was in deep trouble because this was meant for her child. And the destiny that came forward had to do with his transformation. So again, this shocking moment of unanticipated change and suddenly coming into some knowledge that changes you forever. So he was hiding in every way that he could from the goddess, and she just kept following him because she had the power to shapeshift too. And it's interesting. Let me toggle back. So there she is, the shapeshifter, the raven woman, the shamaness, the queen of battle, watching your journey, here to help you make the journey. It's really beautiful. In the end of the story, the young man turned himself into a little piece of wheat, a grain of wheat, and he dove into a wheat pile in a field. She turned herself into a chicken. She dove in after him, gobbled him up, laid an egg. He was born, and in his new form, he came forward as the great poet Taliesin, one of the most celebrated wisdom holders of the Celtic realms. That was his destiny. He didn't anticipate it, he didn't plan on that. He was just trying to make a couple of shekels, Spirit says, by tending the fire. But life is life, and destiny happens. And we see this prophecy about your lineage. So, Cancer, don't doubt it. It's beautiful, this unfolding. When you come through that part of your mystical unfolding, the other thing that is at your disposal this month is this trine. Two things happening: the trine between Jupiter and Neptune, and the fact that the new moon on the 13th of June is in your 12th house of the mystical realm. And I know with certain clarity that you are going on this journey if you should choose. So that is why the sacred initiate is on the human realm. You must choose it. It is a sacrifice. It changes you forever, and it deepens your journey. And things will continue to unfold in their natural way, Spirit says. So, the mystical ability and the realm of the 12th house joined together with Jupiter and Neptune, a trine, Cancer. And you have this beautiful watery element. So I know you're going deep. Use the cycles of the moon, and there you are, diving deep. Right? You can get into this vessel and put your hands on the oars. It'll take you to any destination you want. This is the imaginer of harmony. So if you were a being on this kind of a transformation cycle, what type of harmony would you imagine? And what is the destination that you would desire? So those are the questions you're going to be wrestling with, I think. And the other thing I think I just want to say is this will happen in its own time, in the best way for you. And there are many ways for this to display. I am not here to suggest that every Cancer on the planet has to have the type of shamanistic destiny that I stepped into. It's not necessary per se, but it is necessary to begin to join the tapestry and be able to wield the cord of energy that's coming through with Uranus. We're going to be learning a lot. It's going to be here with us for 8 years. The power of love energy. Spirit says it is complete. And so we're going to learn about that, about the flow, and about the Spirit's talking about the volume. There's some information that has come through. I cannot figure out how to translate it into English. It will come. I think I have to go through my own life-changing event that is unfolding here. And when I get past that, I'm going to be able to speak. But right now I'm feeling it. I know from here, I know. Can't speak about it yet, which is interesting because Spirit is talking about, there's the moment of transit, and then there are the moments that follow. So for you, beautiful Cancer, the moment that follows, of course, is a new life. Look at that. I mean, what could be better than that, right? You come through into the arms of the Queen of Skill, holding the key of life. Look at that. The power to go forward, completely transformed, returning from the mystical realm, from this deep journey, swaddled in the blue cloth of transformation. It's beautiful, Cancer. So, of course, if you're a sacred initiate, your life does change. Take a look, just for a moment, at the way the cards are aligned in the columns, in the rows, and on the diagonal from the bottom to the top. You're going to see a lot of interesting informational threads there. So I'm going to stop the reading at this point and allow those of you who would like to move on. And I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on here. It's intense. So, because I'm an earth sign with fire sign rising, I've come to understand my energy set point, and how that has helped me transition through my days as a spirit being walking across the earth, trying to find my destiny, trying to fulfill that which comes to me, the requests that come, because I have stepped in. I've taken some very sacred vows, and my life unfolds now reflective of that. So, here I've been. Moonrise Cottage has been here for 20 years almost. And 20 years ago, before the structure began to go up, I took a very intense initiation in a very public way. And I took a vow, in a sense, and it had something to do with um, the transmission of energy. I didn't know exactly how it was all going to unfold, but here, fast forward, here I am on YouTube, here at Moonrise Cottage, feeling the destiny unfold. And knowing when I came to this place 20 years ago to build this temple, that the purpose of it was not for me, it was for other people to be able to arrive here. Um, I think I'm going to do a live stream about this because it's a long story. But in any event, when I first started coming up here, there was nothing but woods. And I had to just, bushwhack through the bushes and whatever to get up to the top of the little hill. And I used to come up here and spend days at a time and just pray and meditate. And I would sit in a copse of trees that's on the property. The grandmothers, spirits calling them. And they became precious to me. They became like family. I spoke to them and they spoke back to me, and the kinds of experiences that I have, right? So they've been here keeping me company all these years, and I love them like members of my family. My love for them is unbounded, and I vowed that I would never cut them down. And it's been a problem, and I've been having arguments with my solar guy for years. Like, man, cut those trees down. And then I'd say, Gary, remember this? It's not going to ever happen. And he's a lovely guy. And so, he really lovingly worked with me about, well, then how do you solve the problem if you want to be off the grid because you want energy purity and you don't want the lines coming up here? You got to cut the trees down. I mean, he's been chanting it at me, right? I know. I don't care. Just put some more panels up. I'm not cutting them. This has been going on. So now, because Moonrise Cottage is moving forward into its destiny, this literal physical building is moving into its destiny, accompanied by me. I have to cut the trees down because I need more solar gain than I can get in the current conditions with the trees literally standing in the way, blocking the sun, because they stand facing the south. So I'm going to do it. And I'm the one that had to decide that it's time for them to go. And my heart is shattered because I can't figure out, in a sense, I mean, I know it's going to be okay, but part of me feels like I can't make that transition. I don't know how. I need them because the relationship has been so deep. Well, here's what's the other part of it that's true, right? The shocking moment when Uranus stationed with me, with Moonrise Cottage. It's time to bring the full radiation of the sun onto this property because it is going to bring the shift and change and the destiny that's meant to come here. Those trees, I've always felt, somehow send the energy skyward from the ground here. So as I've been exploring with the lovely gentleman who's going to come and cut the trees, and doing my grief process and trusting and, like the initiate, you just put the blindfold on, you step in, and part of you is quaking in your boots. That's kind of where I've been at. It's been really intense, taking up all my psychic and emotional energy in a sense. In the moment when I'm trying to get the readings out, it's been really intense. Those trees are standing on top of a gigantic vein of white quartz boulders. And what the spirit realm is telling me is, it's okay. It's time for that to be revealed now. The trees don't need to protect it anymore. They don't need to be the transmitter of that energy. It's for you to do. So, oh my God. you know, the second stage of this, in a sense, is me trying to get my mind around that. So I'm going to be accompanied in a new way from the energy that rises from the earth, of course, because I'm a Virgo, right? In this place, and I have a fire sign rising. So I know that my unfolding is happening in a way that's really um, profound. It is shocking to me. I'm clinging to the past. I'm watching myself go through the stages of grief, pardon me, all the things, right? So I'm just sending you love and unbounded support for your journey. Trust it. In whatever way it is meant to come, it will show up. And that is what the sacrifice is about, right? I'm feeling it. I'm going to have another initiation ceremony when this process is done. It'll be time for me to step in further and, in a very joyful way, welcome people to this place. That's its purpose. So, as you step into your purpose, hopefully that little story will illustrate for you how another person goes through this kind of shift and change. I always trust it, it always works out, and I've come to accept that sometimes it comes with grief and sorrow, and I need to stand in my own life as the Morrigan. I need to be the queen of battle in order for my destiny to unfold. So, Cancer, I'll leave it at that for you this month. Please continue to accompany me. I want to hear the stories of what's going on with you. So if you're so inclined, do share it on the conversation thread below the video. It's really important in these moments that we all see the reflection of the journeys that we are taking together individually, because there's the power, Spirit says, in the whole picture, meaning the tapestry, okay? So thank you everyone for listening so long. I'm looking forward to speaking with you next month because we'll be in eclipse season. So, there's a lot. There is a lot. It's going to be a very, Spirit saying, beneficial summer season. And I'll be looking forward to traveling along with you while you're on your own sacred journey. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to leave you with the cards.